What is up, guys? It's Superken from Superken Gamer. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, leave a comment saying hi, thumbs up. If you like the video already, share this video with your friends. And these are the 10 best games released in the year I was born, 1991. Number 10, Final Fantasy IV. Final Fantasy IV is a role-playing game developed and published by Square, now Square Enix, for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System released in 1991. In Final Fantasy IV, the player controls a large cast of characters and completes quests to advance the story. In 1991, Nintendo Power proclaimed it as a new standard of excellence for RPG games. Praise for the story, graphics, gameplay, sound, and challenge. Enemies don't wait for you to make up your mind. Number 9, WWF Wrestlemania. WWF Wrestlemania is a game developed by Twilight and published by Ocean Software in 1991 for the Amiga, Amstrad CPC, Atari ST, Commodore 64, ZX Spectrum, and DOS. It was the first WWF licensed game available for these computers, which were still dominant in Europe. The player can choose from either Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, or the British Bulldog, and must defeat 5 opponents to become the WWF World Heavyweight Champion. Each wrestler is able to perform basic punches and kicks, as well as a range of more advanced moves such as drop kicking, clotheslining, and other signature grappling moves, which is performed by wiggling the joystick. In addition, there is a chair outside the ring which could be used as a weapon. The game also featured a multiplayer practice mode. Another player can control the second wrestler, which would always be Mr. Perfect. Number 8, Toejam and Earl. Toejam and Earl is an action game developed by Johnson Versinger Productions and published by Sega for the Sega Genesis in 1991. The game is set on Earth, which is represented by randomly generated islands that float in space. The game contains both single-player and two-player cooperative modes. Though it was initially conceived as a commercial failure due to low initial sales, the game built a cult following through word of mouth and was later considered a cult success. Combat was slow-paced, but it felt addictive and original. Praise for its graphics, two-player option, music, and humor. Number 7, Hunter. Hunter is a 3D action adventure game in which the player navigates around a series of islands. Hunter was developed by Paul Holmes and Martin Walker, and it was released by Activision for the Amiga and Atari ST home computer in 1991. Hunter is one of the first serious takes on 3D gaming. There was a sense of freedom here in the way you handled things in terms of weapons and vehicles, much like a modern Grand Theft Auto game. Though the world was small, the game was praised for its absorbing nature and described at the time as a bold step forward for 3D games. Number 6, Gods. Gods, also known as Gods Into the Wonderful, is a platforming game by the Bitman brothers, where the player is cast as Hercules in his quest to achieve immortality. The game was first made for Amiga and Atari ST computers, and then ported to the Mega Drive/Genesis and the Super NES. This game stood out for its mixture of exploration, fast-styled arcade action, and puzzle solving. Number 5, Megalomania. Megalomania, or Tyrants Fight Through Time in North America, is a real-time strategy computer game developed by Sensible Software for the Amiga in 1991 and later came to the Atari ST, Mega Drive, Genesis, and Super Nintendo. The game received mostly upper 8s and lower 9s when it came out, criticized for the lack of attention to gameplay, but praised for its accessibility and went on to be ranked the 34th best Mega Drive game of all time by Mega. Number 4, Street Fighter II. The World Warrior. Street Fighter II The World Warrior is a fighting game originally released for the arcades in 1991. In the first Street Fighter II, a match could last up to 10 rounds if there was no clear winner. This was reduced to 4 rounds in Championship Edition and onward. The game was loved by people all around the world, winning Game of the Year awards in Japan for its arcade version. Praised for its new ideas like using button combinations with 8 joystick directions to have the most moves ever seen in a fighting game at the time. Also praised for its graphics, sound, accessibility, and replayability. Number 3, Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge. Monkey Island 2 LeChuck's Revenge is an adventure game developed and published by LucasArts in 1991. LeChuck's Revenge is set in a fictitious tri-island area of the Caribbean several months after The Secret of Monkey Island, 1990's second best game. Monkey Island 2 is considered by many as the best in the point-and-click genre. What made this one so great is its accessibility by adding a light mode to make things easier for beginners. This game was praised for its music and how it added to the atmosphere, the challenging puzzles, sense of humor, and visual presentation. In 1996, Computer Gaming World ranked it as the 74th greatest game of all time. Number 2, Popful Mail Magical Fantasy Adventure. Popful Mail Magical Fantasy Adventure is a side-scrolling platforming game developed by Neon Falcon for the PC in 1991. Popful Mail is a 2D platforming game with several RPG elements, excluding the ability to level up characters. At the start of the game, the only playable character is male. However, as the game progresses, Ted and Gaw become available, and the player can switch between them at any time. This game was praised for its linearity, undemanding gameplay, cutscenes, and voice acting, really bringing the heroes and villains to life. The game has gained a strong cult following over the years. North American copies tend to sell well over $100 on auction websites such as eBay, and is considered one of the more valuable games for the Sega CD. And number 1, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, known as The Legend of Zelda Triforce of the Gods in Japan, is an action-adventure game developed and published by Nintendo for the Super NES. Instead of continuing to use the side-scrolling perspective introduced to the series by Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, A Link to the Past reverts to an overhead perspective similar to that of the original. A Link to the Past is one of the best-selling SNES games of all time, with 4.61 million units sold worldwide, and stayed at the top of Nintendo Power's top games list for 5 consecutive years and ranked number 2 in Nintendo Power's latest issue. In 2005, IGN threw it at number 11 in their top 100 games, while readers voted it into 5th. A Link to the Past was critically acclaimed upon release for its graphics and gameplay, and has since been recognized by critics as one of the greatest video games of all time. Thank you guys so much for watching my top 10 games released in 1991. Let me know what your favorite game from 1991 was. But thank you guys again for watching. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, thumbs up if you liked the video, and tune in next week for my top 10 games of 1992. Thanks for watching.